Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about the F1 weekend, including F2 and F3 for the Belgian Grand Prix. But before we get into that, let's first talk about Zandvoort over in the Netherlands. This is now for like a 3-week break now, so there'll be no F1 action for 3 weeks. So hopefully all you fanatic F1 fans can survive that long. But Paul could be making some content in the middle during the F1 break, so maybe expect that. Maybe just mid-season report to see how everyone's going. So let's now get into first of times for the Netherlands race and FP1 and FP2, which will be on a Friday. FP1 outside at 12:30 to 1:30. FP2 outside at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. FP3 qualifying on August 26th, which is going to be on a Saturday. FP3 outside at 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and qualifying outside at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then a race on a Sunday on August 27th, that will be on 3 o'clock. So normal regular timings for F1, and the only junior category which will be supported in F1 will be F2. And we don't not really too sure what the times are going to be. So practice will be on a Friday, we know that, including qualifying. The sprint race will be on a Saturday, and the feature race will be on a Sunday. I expect it to maybe be pretty early. I don't think there's any other support categories. I guess maybe the Porsche Cup, maybe, but I'm not really too sure about that. But I expect F2 to be pretty early, considering that they are the only junior Formula series which will be joining Formula 1. So with that out of the way, let's now talk about Formula 3 Belgian Grand Prix. So let's first start off with F3 and the sprint and feature race. So sprint race here at Belgium. It was Cal Colette winning the sprint race, and we got Taylor Barnard and Paul Aaron ran out the podium. And then for the top 10, we have Johnny Edgar, Franco Colapinto, Hugh Barter, Nicolas Solov, Luke Browning, Leonardo Frontaroli, and Gregoire Solsi ran out the top 10. This race had a very weird ending. It's because originally there was no points scored, so no one was able to score points because it wasn't like 400%, like they didn't actually complete the race. But I'm pretty sure the next day it was announced that the race was going to be with points. So all the top 10 drivers would have points, and I do not understand that still, of why they didn't score points either. First of all, which was stupid. I didn't really understand that, but luckily they reverted to that decision. They gave the top 10 points. At least that was good enough, but still it was very, very dumb, and I kind of mulled when I saw that on Twitter. Another thing as well, this is also Gabriel Bortoletto's first retirement as well of the season. So that was a pretty big deal, and it was definitely helpful for Paul Aaron, especially, who got points, unlike Pepe Marti and Zachary Sullivan. Paul Aaron was the only championship contender driver to actually to gain some ground on Gabriel Bortoletto, who has a massive lead coming to the final race. So sprint race all done. Now for the feature race, that was won by Taylor Barnard with Christian Mansell and Nikita Berger ran at the podium. This is maybe the most cursed and weirdest podium I've ever seen in my life in Formula 3. And I've seen some pretty weird podiums in my life. Fourth place, we have Alexandro Garcia. Never thought I would say his name ever in a video like this. Then Cal Colette, Sebastian Montoya, Sophia Flourish, yes, Sophia Flourish, yes. Paul Aaron and Pepe Marti, and then Franco Colapinto ran out top 10. This was mainly wet tire drivers. This was dry tire drivers. It kind of reminded me of class systems. So it was like the hypercar was like the wet tire drivers, and the GT cars was the dry tire drivers. It was very strange. It was like two different races basically going on with two different tire compounds. But the wet tires was actually the best option, even though Colette, he was the highest dry runner, and he passed both Montoya and Flourish, who were on wet tires. Paul Aaron was also on wet tires as well, and he pitted. Who else? Colapinto, I'm pretty sure, was on wet tires as well. Then he pitted. But the big one as well was Gabriele Mini. He actually crashed on his reconnaissance lap, basically just getting information before they actually line up to the grid. So that was a very interesting, weird thing that happened before the start of this race. So Mini couldn't participate in this race, sadly. So his only race start would be in Belgium. Will be the sprint race, not the feature race. But yeah, very weird top three, but well, even top five as a whole was just really, really strange. But Sophia Flourish, I'm pretty sure she is not getting any penalties as soon as I upload this video. Might be wrong. But if that's the case, Sophia Flourish will be the first female to actually score points in the F3 season. Well, in the F3, yeah, just F3 as a whole, which is pretty nice. So with that out of the way, let's now talk about the standings. And the standings is getting not really tight, but Gabriel Bortoleto is in the lead, and all he needs to do to win the championship is score 1 point. That's all. If he scores a point in sprint race or the feature race, he'll be in. Unless something massive happens and he retires in both race sessions, and poor Aaron somehow wins both the sprint race and the feature race, even gets pole and the fastest lap, poor Aaron will be the champion. So as we head into the summer break for the F3 season, Gabriel Bortoleto really needs to hope that he doesn't choke away this victory, because he's been leading basically since Bahrain. Since Bahrain, he has been leading. He has been leading this entire season. So I would be very, very surprised if Gabriel Boletta somehow loses the championship and gives it to Pepe Marti or poor Aaron. I'm pretty sure Aaron and Marti, I think they are the two only drivers who could possibly challenge Gabriel Boletta. I think Zach Sullivan is already out. Franco Colapinto is out, including obviously Gino Magnovic, Gabriel Mini, Oliver Gothi, Leonardo Fenaroli, and Cal Collard ran out of the top 10. Yes, so mainly, if we talk about who other contenders are winning the championship, it is Gabriel Bortoleto, poor Aaron, and Pepe Marti. Those are the only three drivers who could realistically win the championship. And Aaron and Marti, they need to hope that Bortoleto somehow crashes out in both sprint and the feature race, doesn't get pole at all, and doesn't get the fastest lap of the race. So there's going to be a lot of pressure built on Gabriel Bortoleto to take on the championship by ease, and a lot of pressure as well for poor Aaron and Pepe Marti to perform well. I will be doing the starting grid as well for both sprint and feature race, if not just a feature race. I'm thinking so. Expect a video out from there. So with that out of the way, let's now talk about Formula 2. For F2 at Belgium, first off with the sprint race, which was won by Enzo Fittipaldi. He gets his first F2 win. Then you got Teo Porchero and Dennis Hauger ran at the podium. And then for the top 10, we have Victor Martins, Jack Doohan, Frederick Vesti, Ayumi Owasa, Ralph Boschank, Arthur Leclerc, and Zane Maloney ran at the top 10. Richard Verschoor was originally second place before he got disqualified. I'm pretty sure of a technical breach. I think. But I want to more talk about the pole sitter for the sprint race, which was Jihan Dalvala. Randomly, somehow, his headset fell off. Sorry, not headset, headrest fell off, which was maybe the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life in F2. Really, really strange. And obviously, immediately he went into the pits and retired the car. I never thought that someone would retire because their headrest came off. Obviously, the closest thing that's probably ever happened was maybe Lewis Hamilton in Baku 2017 when his headrest started popping up a bit, and maybe Kevin Magnussen's crash in 2016 at Belgium. But I've never actually seen a headrest actually come off. That's been really, really weird. And if that has happened before, it's been a long ass time since that's happened before. So this might be the first time this has ever happened in any Formula type of race, like F2, F3, F1, Toyota Gazoo Racing Series, Fricka. It's weird. I'm still wrapping my head around it because it's just so bizarre to me that actually happened. But either way, Fittipaldi, he gets his first win in F2, and Portier and Hauger, they are both elevated on the podium step. Next one is the feature race that was won by Jack Doohan, who saw that coming. Apparently not him, because there was a late safety car that happened, which kind of helped him there. Then got Portier and ends up Fittipaldi for the second time, rounds out his Belgian weekend with a podium inside of the top 3. Then we have Zane Maloney, Victor Martins, who got a 5-second time penalty. Richard Vachon, Oliver Bierman, who also got a 5-second time penalty. And then Kush Miney, Roman Stanek, and Ralph Boschung ran out the top 10. I want to talk about Frederick Vesti and Victor Martins, because just like Gabriel and the Mini, they also crash on their reconnaissance lap. So I'm pretty sure I still don't know what happened in Mini. I'll be honest, I kind of tuned in late because I was watching Supercars. But Martins pretty sure spun out on the exit of the alternative pit lane. I was like up Radion. He spun out there, but he didn't got a lot of damage from that. Vessi, however, was braking on past the Camel Straight and locked up the rear brakes and crashed into the inside wall. So it was pretty bizarre, and definitely a mistake that he was not expecting. Vessi was definitely did not had no idea that he was going to make that mistake, but that single move basically gave Teo Porcher the championship lead as we head over now to summer break. So the championship lead for F2 is getting very, very tight. Jack Doohan, I'm pretty sure he started like in 11th place, worked his way up in an alternative strategy. Awasa, I'm pretty sure, also crashed out because of a toe link issue. And Hauger was disqualified. A lot of stuff happened in this race, so I'm not going to go through every single depth on it, but a lot of stuff happened in this race. I just wanted to talk about Frederick Vesti since he was the championship leader coming into this race, and he kind of bottled it by crashing into the inside wall. Let's now have a look now at the driver standings as we head over to the summer break for F2. Teo Porcher now takes over the lead, and then we got Frederick Vesti, Ayumi Owasa, Jack Doohan, Victor Martins, Oliver Bierman, Enzo Fittipaldi, Richard Vachon, Dennis Hauger, and Zane Maloney ran out the top 10. If we have a look, actually, because I actually don't know how many races until. So we have 3 races left. Obviously, we have Zandvoort, which is next, Monza, and Yas Marina. So we basically have 3 rounds left until the F2 season is wrapped up, and a lot of stuff can happen, especially at Monza. A lot of stuff happens in Monza for some reason. So keep a lookout for that. And heading over to the summer break, I think Vesti and Porcher, they're definitely going to be thinking how they can win the championship. Owasa, Doohan, maybe even Victor Martins, a bit of a long shot. But if Doohan keeps performing like he's doing right now, winning feature races after feature races, then he could possibly make a bid onto the championship. Owasa, he's been kind of struggling in the past couple of rounds as well. And Vesti and Porcher, those 2 drivers are definitely the drivers to be for the championship. So with that out of the way, let's now talk about the Formula 1. Let's first start off now with the sprint race for Formula 1's Belgium Grand Prix 2023. And if you said Max Verstappen won, yeah, congratulations. Yeah, he got the win. But behind him is Oscar Piastri, who actually led some laps during the race. And in 3rd place, Pierre Gasly somehow. I don't know how that happened either, but that was pretty surprising. Then we have Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, then Lewis Hamilton. Apologies, George Russell ran out of top 8 in the points. And then we got Esteban Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo ran out of top 10. And last Stroll, Alexander Albon, Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen, Logan Sargent, Nico Hulkenberg, Yuki Tsunoda, and then the 2 DNF drivers of Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso. Alonso spun out on his birthday, which is pretty sad, and Perez pretty sure collided with Hamilton. So I'm pretty sure he did. Might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Perez did collide with Hamilton, and these are the retirements. Perez due to a collision damage, and Alonso because of an accident on his own fault. And as for the race, yeah, it was Max Verstappen. It's getting pretty tiring to say Max Verstappen every single freaking time. And then we have Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc joining them on the podium. Then Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Last Stroll, and Yuki Tsunoda round out top 10. And then we have Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Zhou Guanyu, Alexander Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, Logan Sargent, Nico Hulkenberg, and then the two DNFs of Carlos Sainz and Oscar Piastri. That's just because of a turn one incident that happened on the very first lap, because Piastri basically dove down to the inside and they did not go well. So yeah, pretty unlucky there for both Piastri and Sainz. And other than that, nothing really else really happened here. So kind of just a standalone Belgian race. So obviously retirements for Sainz and collision for Piastri. Past Verstappen went to Leclerc. Past his lap went to Lewis Hamilton. Driver of the day, Max Verstappen, then followed by Charles Leclerc. Yuki Tsunoda was actually pretty close, and Lando Norris and Sergio Perez rounding out the top 5 for the driver of the days. Bunch of lap times were deleted because you can understand it. Tire usage, no one really cares unless you are really interested in it. A bunch of medium softs back to softs. It was actually a pretty interesting strategies of 3 stops and sometimes even 4 stops even. So, well, not even 4 stops, just 3 stops really, or even 1 stop as well if you're Hulkenberg or Gasly. So, but it's mainly 2 stops. That was the main one. Penalties, I guess we'll just do the sprint first. Change of direction, which was a warning for Alonso. Pit lane speed penalty for Logan Sargent, which was a 5-second time penalty, and then causing a collision for Lewis Hamilton, which was a 5-second time penalty and 2 penalty points. And Hulkenberg made some changes as well in Parc Ferme, which caused the driver to start from the pit lane. Now for the driver standings for the championship, Max Verstappen continues to lead. I think just give him. I think we should just give him the championship now. Only really one change, that being Charles Leclerc. He moves up 2 spots, while George Russell and Carlos Sainz both didn't move down 1. So Verstappen leading. They got Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon rounding out the top 10. Then Oscar Piastri, Pierre Gasly, Alexander Albon, Nico Hulkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, Logan Sargent, Nick DeVries, and Daniel Ricciardo down in last place. And for the constructors, we have Red Bull, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, and AlphaTauri, getting 1 point up from 2 at the beginning of this race. So, just a reminder that next week's, as well, I should say 3 weeks' times race will be at Netherlands for both Formula 1 and Formula 2. F3 will be joining F1 and F2 at Monza for their final race, and the championship is looking very spicy, especially with Gabriel Borletto only needing 1 point to win the championship. Sorry if that's really bad for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys all next time in the next one. Goodbye.